We need to wise up. We need to open our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet that has a problem. We've got to solve it, get involved and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. Make it greener, make it cleaner, make it last, make it fast, do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. No point in waiting or hesitating. We must get wise, no more lies, do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We need to wake up, we need to wise up, we need to open our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet that has a problem. We've got to solve it, get involved and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. Make it greener, make it cleaner, make it last, make it fast, do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. No point in waiting or hesitating. Let's get wise, no more lies, do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now.
Right now!
We're walking tower, okay?
No transit gas.
No transit gas.
Well, we shall not be moved. Join us. No.
Okay.
Get on the same key.
Ready?
No transit gas plant, we shall not be moved. No transit gas plant, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. No highway expansion, we shall not be moved. No highway expansion, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. No Woodbridge gas plant, we shall not be moved. No Woodbridge gas plant, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. Wind and solar power, we shall not be moved. Wind and solar power, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. No LNG exports, we shall not be moved. No LNG exports, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. No more gas compressors, we shall not be moved. No more gas compressors, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved.
PVSC plant.
No PVSC gas plant, we shall not be moved. No PVSC gas plant, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved.
No more gas pipelines.
No more gas gas pipelines, we shall not be moved. No more gas pipelines, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. We need a moratorium, we shall not be moved. We need a moratorium, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved.
Security is all.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering where they're moving
Say
in.
no. Really easy. We say no.
Yeah, it was interesting.
We're here to press here.
Yeah. Right. He'll get the word.
We say no. 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 Fossil fuels have got to go. They've got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. Have got to go. Stop using fossil fuels, 'cause they're not good for us. They're not good for us. They're not good for us. Stop using fossil fuels, 'cause they're not good for us. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. They've got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. Have got to go. If Governor Murphy doesn't stop them, we'll make a great big fuss. We'll make a great big fuss. We'll make a great big fuss. If Governor Murphy doesn't stop them, we'll make a great big fuss. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. Have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. If Trenton won't stop them, we'll make a bigger fuss. We'll make a bigger fuss. We'll make a bigger fuss. If Trenton won't stop them, we'll make a bigger fuss. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. Experts are saying pollution brings more COVID deaths. Brings more COVID deaths. Brings more COVID deaths. Experts are saying pollution brings more COVID deaths. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fossil fuels have got to go.
Fossil fuels have got to go.
Let's give a big round of applause for the Solidarity Singers of the New Jersey Industrial Union Council. I got to say, that was the best choral backup I think we've had in quite some time, so thank you, everyone.
It was echoing off the hotel.
Yeah. So, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's a beautiful day. You wouldn't know by the weather today that the climate crisis is getting worse, and people across the planet are feeling the dire impacts of extreme weather and other devastating impacts from climate change. Before we get started, I'll just actually start by welcoming people to the first event in the New Brunswick Climate Strike.
This event is calling on Governor Murphy to use his authority to stop all new fossil fuel projects. Does someone want to watch my dog for a second? Thank you, Nathan. And we are joined today by students, faculty from Rutgers and elsewhere, and activists and organizational leaders all across New Jersey for a multi-event day in concert with similar actions happening across the world today as part of the latest Fridays for Future International Day of Climate Strikes. And we're here specifically in New Brunswick at Monument Square because Governor Murphy, despite all of his climate rhetoric, and despite some of the few positives he's done on offshore wind, has really failed to meet his commitments when it comes to being a leader in fighting climate change here in New Jersey and protecting environmental justice and frontline communities from the devastating impacts of fossil fuel pollution.
You're right.
And here at Monument Square Park, because the governor actually chose on this very day to be inside the Heldridge Hotel, giving a speech. And who knows, he might be inside touting some of his climate action. But when we look at the record, when we look at what Governor Murphy campaigned on, when we look at what the science calls for, when we look at the public health impacts in our state, and especially in overburdened communities, this governor's executive orders on climate change and the paper used to make them have probably produced more carbon emissions than have been reduced by the governor's own climate policies.
You're right.
He has failed to stop several major fossil fuel projects. There are a total of 7 fossil fuel projects that are pending permits from his administration. They include 2 major gas pipelines, the Williams Regional Energy Access and the Tennessee Gas Pipeline through the Highlands and through South and Central Jersey. They include 3 power plants, all of which are sited in overburdened environmental justice communities.
This is true.
They include an LNG export terminal, which is really unprecedented, that is located in Gibbstown on the Delaware River, that would take fracked gas from Pennsylvania, loaded onto trucks and trains, and this is happening nowhere else in the country. But the plan is to truck it and train it 200 miles down to Gibbstown to export it overseas.
No way.
And lastly, the 7th project is a massive and unnecessary and disastrous expansion of the New Jersey Turnpike. Tragically and shamefully, the governor has actually come out in support of that turnpike expansion. Someone has forgotten to tell the governor that when you build more highway lanes, that means more cars on the road and more pollution in our communities and more pollution impacting the climate. And it's not even a solution to the purported problem which it seeks to address. Because widening the turnpike to 4 lanes in one area that feeds into the same 2-lane Holland Tunnel does nothing to alleviate traffic heading into New York City. All it does is make that traffic worse, and it spills that traffic and idling emissions directly into frontline environmental justice communities in Jersey City, in Hoboken, and elsewhere in Hudson and Essex County.
Parking lot!
So we have to ask the question, who is the governor serving when he makes these policy decisions, when he fails to stand up to the fossil fuel industry, when his representative on the Delaware River Basin Commission approves permits to extend the permit for the LNG export terminal in Gibbstown? Who is he serving and who is he protecting? It certainly isn't the people of New Jersey, nor is it the climate that he professes to care so deeply about.
Amen.
You're right.
So that's why we're here today. And again, this is just one of many events. We're thrilled to be working in partnership with RU Progressive, with the Rutgers Faculty Union, with student groups, with organizations across New Jersey for this climate strike. And we're going to be marching up to campus after this rally to join students on campus before marching over to Congressman Pallone's office. But we're here mostly to hear from frontline grassroots leaders who are in the fight to stop these projects, these 7 fossil fuel projects. And I'm just eyeing who in the crowd of our speakers has arrived yet. And I do know that I've seen John Sue. John is a leader with Our Revolution, Middlesex County. John is a tireless grassroots organizer fighting for progressive movements from environmental and climate justice to Medicare for all and abolition of student debt. And it's appropriate to have John be our first speaker because he's going to talk about the power plant that's proposed right here in Middlesex County. So let's give a warm welcome to John Sue.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for that really kind introduction. So here in Middlesex County, we have a fossil fuel power plant, fracked gas, that's going to be piped in from Pennsylvania. It's going to be in the Caseby section of Woodbridge. And like Matt said, it's an environmental justice community. So that's in Woodbridge and Perth Amboy. So those are some of the more lower income areas in our county. And they always put the industry and the fossil fuels and the projects close to that area. So we have to stop it there. We also are obviously very concerned about the existential problem of climate change. So, no more fossil fuels. They just tell us, the scientists tell us, no more fossil fuel infrastructure, not one more. So that's why we're fighting there. Keep it in the ground, yeah, definitely. So right now, there already is an existing power plant there. There are already 6 in the county. They provide more power than the county actually needs. And the idea of building another one in these conditions is mind-boggling. We are also having offshore wind coming online. That's going to provide more power. One offshore wind farm will provide more power than two of those power plants in Woodbridge.
Whoa, that's awesome. Get
So-
those wind turbines up.
So it's a big concern right now. The county, the Democratic Party, we have to call them out. Sometimes they help us, sometimes they don't. But they support this power plant. They want to build that second power plant. One reason is there's already existing one there. It'll be easy for them to build another one. That's what they said. There are also some infrastructure to cool down the power plant, the first one with wastewater. So the county wants that that money. It's all about the money. But we don't think money, profits, whether it's profits or whether it's money for municipal governments. We don't think that's more important than our climate or our future. So we have to stop it. Right now, our strategy is to pass resolutions opposing the power plant in municipal governments to let Governor Murphy know where the people stand. We were able to pass it in Edison, in Highland Park. Highland Park Board of Ed. Yep, thanks Tina for that.
Thank you, Tina Allen.
And also Perth Amboy. So it's really funny. The mayor of Woodbridge, he really wants the power plant, John McCormick. He really wants the power plant. So he's been calling up all the municipal councils and asking and telling them that he does to not oppose the power plant. We've heard that. They try to do that in Perth Amboy, but since Perth Amboy is going to be heavily affected by it, they passed the resolution. In Saraville, it's very funny. Like at the council meeting, they admitted that McCormick has been calling them, but they passed the resolution anyway, 4-2. So that was just last week. That was a big victory for us. So I'll end here. We're fighting. We are canvassing. We are talking to folks. People don't know about this, but once they hear what's going on, they're on our side. And we'll continue fighting for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Our next speaker is the co-chair of the Newark Environmental Commission. She's a longtime leader, not only here in New Jersey, but in the international movement for a just transition to a livable future and fighting for overburdened communities from New Jersey all over the world. Let's give it up for Cynthia Mayone.
Hi, muy buenas tardes. Good morning, good afternoon. I live in Newark. As Matt said, I co-chair the Newark Environmental Commission, which is a volunteer piece of work. I live in the East Ward of Newark, the Ironbound section, which is one of the most polluted zip codes in the United States. We have everything. If you've ever looked at the list of just a heavy concentration of polluting practices and both past and current polluting activities and plants. So we're constantly working on that. We're working on an incinerator, which is one of 3 that's in New Jersey. In the 80s, when they wanted to put that incinerator in Newark, they wanted to put one in every county of New Jersey. The Newark people fought so hard. Some people went to jail that they ended up only putting one in Camden, one in Newark, and the smaller one that's in Rahway. Right? So, it helped everyone but us. Okay, and the amount of pollution that thing kicks out is massive. We're having a resurgence of activity around that again now, because those should be closed. The thing I wanted to signal to you all is that PVSC, Passaic Valley Sewage Treatment Plant, that's what we call it, wants to put in a gas-fired power plant. Their claim, their argument in our neighborhood, right where everything else is, their claim is that they need it for their resiliency. And I mean, I can tell you that, during the Sandy storm, they unleashed, I learned the meaning of the word floodgate, because they let them open, right? And all the sewage went into Newark Bay and up the Passaic River, which is already the most contaminated site in the world with what do you call it? The Agent Orange, right? It's dioxin, which is a byproduct. They made Agent Orange on the banks of the river. We're dealing with that. That's why you can't swim or eat fish from the Passaic. But right now we're fighting this PVSC power plant and another one that may be coming on stream. We know that those things have to go. It's old school. PVSC didn't even use proper resiliency equipment that they already had during the Sandy storm. Then they cried the blues to the government and got more money, and now they're trying to put this in. We're fighting it hard, and we hope you have your support. It's a real non-starter, and thank you for everything you've done. Next.
Our next speaker is a youth and student leader. They are, for as long as I've known them, unafraid to speak truth to power, committed to grassroots organizing, and committed to bringing a critical youth voice to our movement. Let's give it up for Ray Watson.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. I am 17 and I am, 3 weeks away from being 18. So it's been a very interesting journey for me because I started this when I was 14. And I started this doing a climate strike outside my local courthouse. I live in Hunterdon County. I live in Reddington. But we did it at the Flemington courthouse because Reddington's not the most accepting place. But it was maybe 10 of us from the local environmental club at Hunterdon Central High School. We were all freshmen, and we kind of just stood there and didn't really know what we were doing. But it was our first protest, and even though we didn't really accomplish anything, we kind of didn't know what we were doing. We had no demands, we had no targets, we had no, cohesive anything. We built something in the community that day. We started something, and I have been working to build that for the last 4 years. I am now the co-coordinator with my best friend of our local, what used to be is solely a climate justice group, but we're now turning it into just a local community social justice group, Sunrise Hunterdon County. And I have done so much organizing online, and it has taken such a toll on my mental health, like doing all of these things, writing emails, signing petitions, emailing people, calling people, phone banking, and never really seeing anything come out of it. And so I am now shifting my focus over to solely community-based organizing and solely local organizing. And I will continue to come out to every single protest that I can in New Jersey. because I can now, because I have a driver license, which I didn't have when I was 14. But I have it now, and I hope I don't crash my car somewhere, but you know, I'm a teenage driver, you never know. But I was supposed to come here with 2 friends, and they both ditched me, but it's okay, because they have valid reasons for why they didn't come. Thank you. But they have valid reasons why they didn't come. But the reality is that we do not really have a strong community base for our organizing. I see every time I come to these protests, I see the same people. I see Paula. Where's Paula? Where is she? She's right there. I see Paula, and I see Matt, and sometimes I see Amber, and I see other people. But it is very rare for me to see new young people coming to these things. I'm looking around here. I'm seeing like 5 teenagers, and I love the little kid right there. Maybe 2 years old. I love that. I love that we're bringing young kids here. But I would really, really love to see more actual young people who are old enough to understand these things, but kind of young enough to not have had a place to make any decisions about themselves. I would love to see more high schoolers. I want to see more middle schoolers. I want to see elementary school students who actually know about these things and can come out and do it, because the reality is that we're not teaching our kids about that stuff, and that's why they're not coming out. And we need to start doing more of that, and we need to start focusing more on our communities, because the only way that we are going to get rid of all these fossil fuel projects, and the only way that we are going to actually advance climate justice is on our own, in our communities. Because the reality is that no matter how many times I have come out here over 4 years, Governor Murphy has done absolutely nothing. And he will continue to do absolutely nothing. And I am confident in that. I used to believe that our politicians would actually do something. I used to believe that we could convince them with our protests and our petitions and our organizing, but the reality is that we cannot, and honestly, I don't think any of them that are in office right now will even do anything. Even the so-called progressives like AOC and Ilhan Omar, they're not really doing that much. Yeah, it's the political climate, but the reality is that our government isn't working for us. And so we need to keep building power in our communities, and we need to keep doing things at the local level and getting more and more people involved if we ever want to have a hope of stopping the climate crisis, of advancing environmental justice, of advancing all these different social justice issues. I would also love to see more intersectionality in the movement, because the reality is that I am standing here today and I see a mostly white crowd, and I see a mostly I'm trying to grammar this, but I see a crowd of mostly older people, and I see a crowd of mostly people who probably aren't even from New Brunswick. I know a lot of you are. I know Charlie is. I know Matt is. I know other people are. But I know a lot of people from elsewhere as well, and I am not from here. So I would like to see more of us building power in our communities where we are, because even where I live in Hunterdon County, where it's the rural part of New Jersey and it's the red part of New Jersey, and the reality is that Malinowski, who's the Democratic rep right now, he's getting ousted. I don't doubt it, because they redistricted and they gave us a bunch of red stuff that's not great in Warren County. But the reality is that even in Hunterdon, we have people who support us. We have so many young people who are growing up in a society that is not treating them equitably, that is not giving them any rights, that is even actively taking their rights away. And they want to fight back, but they don't know how. So we need to tell them how. We need to give them the resources to fight back for themselves. We need to train a new generation, not even a new generation. We just need to train a new movement of all ages, of all types of people. We need to train a new group of people to join us, and we need to do it quickly, because the reality is that the same people who keep coming out every single time, we're not going to get this done if it's just us. We need more. We need our entire communities to come out and to do this work. We cannot rely on our politicians. We cannot rely on Governor Murphy. We cannot rely on the Democrats or the Republicans to do anything for us, because the reality is that it has been 50 years since they knew about this, and they have not done anything. So I stand here today and I ask you, please help me build community power, help me fight for climate justice, and a big fuck you to Governor Murphy and all our other politicians.
Hey, don't forget to vote in November.
I will be voting, but I will tell you now, voting is not going to save us. Please do other things. will be my first time voting, though.
Thank you, Ray. Our last speaker before we march over to campus is a grassroots organizer advocate from South Jersey, from Voorhees specifically. Voorhees is along the proposed route of the LNG Gibbstown scheme, where LNG trucks and trains would come through communities and put their health and safety at risk. So let's give a warm welcome to Dennis Gormley.
Yeah, tough act to follow, tough act to follow. Blev. I could have spent my entire life without hearing the word Blev, which is a boiling, liquid, expanding vapor explosion. This is what happens when a truck or a tanker car carrying LPG punctures. Doesn't explode like a gas tanker. It just oozes out, enveloping everything in it in a much more insidious and much harder manner to fight. I've heard, we were just at a town hall the other day, and my local representative was saying, oh, we've already transported natural gas and gasoline and oil, and the mindset that allows someone to think that those are the same as transporting liquid petroleum gas is, I can't fathom it. I just can't fathom it. The trucks are coming from the Marcellus shale fields in Pennsylvania. That's Pennsylvania. They're going to come down either by train over the Delaware Bridge near the border of Burlington County, down through Camden County, Gloucester County, to Gibbstown. They're going to go right through your sister campus in Camden. Rutgers Camden is right in the firing line of these trucks. The trains are going to go down through Camden. The trucks are going to go down 295, not more than 5 miles from where I reside, not more than right where the Cooper River, which is one of our waterways, flows. It's going to go right down through Gloucester County, strangely enough, immediately in close proximity to our former state senator president, who is strongly in favor of this project. Now, I have to take issue with Ray, our last speaker, because she said politicians have done nothing. Politicians have said a lot of stuff. They've made proclamations. They've told us in town halls, well, we don't think that these permits are going to be issued for these trains and trucks to transport this stuff. In the meantime, the New Jersey representative to the Delaware River Basin Commission is voting to allow these permits. The state EPA is not showing any opposition. I've been told at town halls that we need to keep the lights on. I would submit that once a LPG transport truck or train punctures, the people in that proximity aren't going to care whether the lights are on or not. They're going to care that they can't breathe. I would submit further that when we don't have a breathable atmosphere because of the carbon dioxide we're putting into it because of fossil fuel projects and the trees that are being cutting down to remove that will remove a breathable atmosphere from us. So, like the sign says, keep it in the ground. Thank you so much.
Keep it in the ground.
Thank you so much, Dennis. So we're just hearing that Governor Murphy has taken the stage inside, so I figured if we chant loud enough and those doors stay open for just long enough, you might just hear us. So before we walk over to campus and join faculty and student leaders for the next portion of the rally, I hope we can give Governor Murphy one final chant. And let's hope he hears us. So it goes, Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Governor Murphy, keep your promise, no fossil fuel projects. Thank you so much, and why don't we, for those who are going to walk over to campus with us, why don't we line up on the sidewalk over here and we can walk together and stay safe, and also if we keep our signs with us, we can be a nice visual as we walk through downtown New Brunswick.